you look at this Hindu Dr. Who, she came in the office. Well, she used to ask me like, one thing she always tell me, Mr. Jarrett, I knew you were here because when you get close to my office, I get weak and dizzy, faint, have headaches, and I have to hold on to something to keep from falling. I'm thinking to myself, yeah, devil, I know. She came in one time talking about white people don't respect black people because they're ignorant and illiterate and that, going on like that. And I just looked at this. I want to say you curse damn ignorant. You don't really. If I start telling you about yourself, you crumble up into a fetal position, hide up under your bed, eating your own hand up, and it'll never come out again. You understand what I'm saying? Now you can't tell the truth. I told her, I said so. So you're not even trying to reflect on the way that these pyramid builders were abducted, kidnapped, and enslaved, and all that stuff, and hung for reading the book and all. So you're not even dealing with reality. I said, well, let me ask you a question, Mahatma Gandhi. What about Gandhi? My grandfather, my uncle, he still has the cufflink, the handcuff marks on scars on his wrist when he was in prison in India because he was part of the revolt against the British. I said, yeah, they did the same thing to y'all, so I'm saying, why are you doing like that? But that's why devils don't like me, because they want to try to force that lie down my throat like shit with a plunger, and it's just not happening, right?
Right.
And they don't want to be around me because they don't want that truth forced down theirs. The actual reality. I'm not here to confirm your erroneous beliefs. I'm here to give you the facts. You got
That's right.
John 8:32, and only the truth will make you free. Keep that in mind. All right, Jerry, what's your question?
Oh, Jerry.
Jerry. Okay, family, go ahead.
Yeah, I just don't know. Are we born with barytheric glands, or we don't have a barytheric gland?
Well, most of you have had them surgically removed, and they used to be in the hippocampus area of your brain, about the size of a walnut, right? But after they were surgically removed, like I said, by these reptilian entities, they try to break your connection with the Most High. But in the last days, those of you that are chosen will have them relocated surgically in the lower submental under your chin.
Right. So you said it was removed when we was born, when we was a little baby or something?
Let me say, there are women in South America that you see a scar on their backs all the time. It's because white people went down there, and for older white people with a lot of money, they have kidney failure, and they buy their kidneys from them, and surgically remove one of them, and they've been doing it generationally so long that they become weak like that. They don't do it to the men because they need them out in the fields and hunting, right? But they become, even their daughters are born with that weakness. Are you following what I'm saying? Because of the removal of kidneys over generations, right? So what I'm saying is by removing surgically the barytheric gland, it's also passed on to your children that they're born deformed or without it, too. Are you following me? While some of you still have your barytheric gland, but it's not activated, but in some cases it is, star movers, and others still have the nerve endings, or just the imprint of it spiritually, and it gives you access to spiritual things a lot of times. Are you following me? But I'm saying it's no different than because devils don't know what the appendix is used for, or the tonsils, they say that they don't serve any purpose. Are you following what I'm saying? So when they become inflamed, their remedy is to remove them surgically, cut them out, because they don't serve any purpose. In their barbaric, ignorant way. You follow me? But the thing is 1025. But the thing is your barytheric gland, all your tonsils, all these organs can be replaced, because the three of them work in concert to raise up your spiritual vibrations in order to put you back in tune with the higher realms. Are you following me?
Mm-hmm.
And so there'll be a lot of you that'll be laying on your right side, and you'll see beings performing surgery in your lower back, and they'll insert this white disc. It's called a velar, a dye, or a disc in between the cartilages. and then they'll close again, and you won't be seeing any sign or feeling any effects of it. But this crystal, like all crystals, collects information about your past, future, all of your chemistry, your dreams, and what you think is heaven, and this, and that, and the other. And so when you're taken up, you go up through a central vortex, and there are certain elders that are specially qualified, just like in a mixing studio for music, and they get this crystal back and they put it, insert it, and then they go through your memory and what have you, and they erase all your fears and turn them to pleasant, replace with pleasant, beautiful memories, and they rearrange your molecular structure, just like on Star Trek. You know, you go into a million little pieces, they bring, you know, etc. And then when you get through the shift again, it's a long scientific process. I can't explain, but right now we need to move some stars and just prove that you're disciples right now, rather than have an explanation of it, right? But believe me, I know these things and have experienced these things, and they're all very real. So what it is that, for example, the name of these crafts, they're called sham here on Earth. But in their vernacular, a sham means something that's fake or phony. Are you following me? I'm just trying to show you how they casted this spell on you. But yeah, Terry, you a very good soul. Your birthday glam will be replaced. All right, now I need all of you to go out right now and very quickly look up at the sky and tell me what you see. Ryan, are you still here from Pennsylvania?
The whole creation.
Okay. Who's going to move that first star? I'll bring these stars closer to us.
Whoa.
And if you want, I'll make the whole creation just continue to drop so you can see all the stars falling over and over again. If it's hard for you to wrap your mind around fallen stars or fallen angels, I'll show you. It's not just probable or possible, it's inevitable. And it's happening now. It's not a thing of the past. So the thing about things attacking you in your sleep, you don't want that to continue, because you'll be totally consumed by that, and that'll become your ultimate reality. And that's not heaven by any stretch or measure. Okay?
Right.
All right. Who's going to be the first one?
The whole sky. Clouds.
You got clouds?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you won't always have them. All right. Maror, what you got in Florida?
I want to move the whole creation. I got all the stars in my face.
All right, very good. How are you going to move him? Which way? And everybody should bear witness to what he's doing. He's going to move the entire creation.
The entire creation. All creation go up in the name of the Messiah, AMUN-RAYAY. All creation go up. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. All creation go to the right in the name of AMUN-RAYAY, the Messiah. All creation go to the right. Going to the right. All creation going to the right.
If you're not going outside bearing witness to this, then you're not here to free yourself. Come in. Go ahead.
All creation go back to the left in the name of the Messiah, AMUN-RAYAY. All creation go to the left.
And if you can't see it, I feel sorry for you. Because
it's going to the left.
Your third eye is evidently calcified and closed, and you don't have access to spiritual reality. Go ahead.
It's still going. We're stretching it all the way to the left. It's still moving. Keep going. All right, now stop and go clockwise circle for the chosen ones, all righteous ones. Under the name of the Messiah, AMUN-RAYAY.
Nobody's going to bear witness to what he's doing. You all can't see what he's doing.
Clockwise circle.
I know you all see this twice a week at least, so why are you quiet now?
I can feel it too.
Yeah, I know.
And we're going to go up all the way up one more time.
You're going to go what, up?
Yes. All the way up. I can see the spectrum of the lights on the top of the stars going up. Keep going. All the way.
Kiefer,
that's right.
what do you see in Tennessee or you in Texas? I love you.
Love you.
It's overcast here, Messiah.
All right. What about in Tennessee, Keith?
It's raining.
Okay. All right, Katat. What about you in
London,
Florida?
cloudy.
Are you? Go ahead. I'm sorry?
No, I said London's cloudy. It's got high winds and clouds.
Okay, London's cloudy. Okay, well, you want to move the clouds, Cheryl?
It's really windy and the clouds will all move. It's proper overcast.
Okay, all right. I love you. Okay, now who else wants to perform a miracle tonight? Joanne Truly, how about you? What do you see? Would you take an instant to go outside and just look up? I'm sorry?
I did. I went outside. It just started to rain. It's just I can't see anything. Rain.
Okay, I got you. I follow you. But it will happen. You have moved stars for us before, haven't you?
I believe so, yes.
Right. Well, you should feel good about that. Really feel good because the 144,000. You see, and during the time of the one you called Jesus or Yahshua, with 12 disciples, that eventually evolved into 120 disciples. And these men and women became Mashiites. Meaning they healed the sick, raised the dead, fed the hungry, they did all the things. You follow what I'm saying? They were called the sons and daughters of thunder. You know, so they were more powerful than your modern day X-Men. So I just want you to know that this is very real. And when you're going to defeat the devil while he's grabbing you behind the back and handcuffing and biting you naked and that and the other, it's not going to be on a physical plane. This is domain until it passes away. You have to battle him on the battlefield of the soul in the spiritual realm because he can't reach there. And he's impotent, like a turtle on his back. You follow me? So it's not about us trying to get rid of the darkness and trying to get rid of all dark angels or the prince of darkness or the evil and what have you. We're not here. I'm not here to get rid of evil. I'm here to raise you up into the true light. To raise you up in vibrational frequency. And the earth is doing that. Don't get left behind. So write down Schumann resonance. You're a scientist, Joanne. Write down the Schumann resonance so you can Google that after class, the Schumann resonance. And you can see the whole earth is vibrating about 3 times faster than it was prior to 2012 and raising up in frequency. And everybody that's not raising up with her is going to be left behind as the old earth. See, but they're trying to get you all involved in 5G when you should be involved in 5D in the 5th dimension and above. You follow me? The devil is so cruel and obvious, right? It's not 5G, it's 5D that you should be concerned about. All right? Because nothing can rise above its source. If these are, they think that this, what do you call it, machines and computers and AI, artificial intelligence and what have you. Let's look at this closely. Regardless of how sophisticated you think this technology is, was it created by some being, yes or no? Right?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Then nothing can rise above its source. Right? You can't, there's nobody here greater than their parents. Potentially. You follow me? Nothing can rise above its source. You can't create something that's superior to you. That's deception. And I understand all the arguments. I understand, but the point is, nothing can rise above its source. Okay? Now, is there anybody else out here who's going to perform a miracle for us tonight? If not, let's go back to these tablets here. I had some sea beings, Sabians, as they call themselves now, but I identify them as sea beings. And if you look up Sabians, you find out that that's men of stature, or giants in the earth, Nephilims, the fallen angels. And then you have to ask yourself, why would they name themselves fallen angels? Remember what Malachi said at the last after the fall. You Nuwabians are those fallen angels. All right? Now, I know all this is going contrary to what you want to believe, but it's time to put your red grass down and your cold fire, and all. It's time to wake up to reality. Back to life, back to reality. Now, what was the last verse we were on? Okay, 191. Specifically, Enocytes must go through the energy grid, controlling cell division on his biological level of organization before the larger electromagnetic change happens. Enocytes will also understand how new growth effects will be the result of electromedicine, which uses electromagnetism. Enocytes, by using the light surgery of electromagnetic penetration into bone marrow, will be able to create new bone growth. Your planet is no different than any other form of life that must renew itself. It is like an energy molecule going through renewal and being restored to a new existence. This is called the entropy of Gaia. All of this must be understood, that you may, through the ancient or mystic order of the sons of the green light, learn to raise your density level or vibrations, right? And stimulate your melanin to awaken dormant energies of divine, making it impossible for you to be enslaved mentally. This will help you create what is called psychic self-defense. Important being the distinction between the mark of the concealers of truth, that's the liars, and the mark of the faithful. The first be the human faithful, their mark be in their foreheads by striking their heads upon the ground in worship. I don't mean like the Mohammedans, as revealed to our servant Ahmed in the Quran, the 48th degree, 29th verse. All right? Now you can read on at your own pleasure, but I don't think any of you that's been with me have any doubt as to who I am and who sent me and why and what my purpose is. And my purpose is to reconnect you with your own purpose and make you remember who and what exactly you are, who you are, and what your mission is. Right? So your mission is to propagate and post this truth up everywhere and every media outlet, and to transform yourself into spiritual beings. Right? So I hope that I threw some light in those blind corners. Now let's open up the floor for questions. Who has that question?
I have one.
And I'll do my best.
Okay, now I know that you said that, well, I know we have a purpose as far as the 144,000, and then you were talking about the shams coming and stuff like that. So how would that affect, how would we know, like, you know, as far as us going where we're supposed to be going, as opposed to what you were saying as far as the vortex taking some of us and then, I guess, the shams coming to get others?
How would we know? How would you know it's happening to you?
No.
Because
how would you know? Okay. Would that okay. With the sham coming, for individuals intertwined with the vortex situation and the 144,000. That's what I'm trying to ask.
Okay, so the question is, the sham is really, okay, you want to go into it deeply? You see, if you go into the Holy Tablets, chapter 7, you can see a diagram of a man turning himself inside out into a craft. So the sham is actually you. You're a whole light being, and that's how you take flight, like on a Burak. Muhammad going up, or Ahmed, Muhammad, the same one, chapter 19, tablet 5. Ahmed is Muhammad, Muhammad is Jesus, and they're all the same one, right? By different names and different cultures at different times. The Son of the Most High. Now, you are this light vehicle. And the sham is like a crown that you wear on your head, right? So if we go to chapter, so when you turn yourself inside out, which you do every night, and you disconnect your physical illusory self through what you call sleep, the real you raises up in vibration and acts freely on that flesh, travels over the light cord of your spine, and it travels outside of your body, and you're like a genie free from the bottle again. You're traveling around free, and dependent upon your thoughts, whether they're positive or negative, you experience different realities, right? But you are this craft, these shafts that's coming for you. Now, I don't want to complicate things, but let's look at it like, because when I move stars, you all know that I'm doing it from my bedroom with my eyes closed in the dark while all of you are outside and in Kenya, Africa, different places. Right, so what I'm doing is bringing a mind link. As the Son of the Most High, that's my proof right there that only all is in contact with all, right? So in order for me to see things through your eyes, regardless of where you are, then I'd have to be who I say I am. Heya, Asher, Heya. And I'm here to tell you that you are the same thing. There's nothing else you could be, except the Most High Creator. You're acting outside of the reality of you. You're projecting something that's completely false and out of character. There are no devils and reptiles and this and that and the other. It's what you choose to create. There are cherubims and seraphims. But cherubims are disagreeable, not evil. They're a polarity, like on your battery in your car, negative or positive. This evil with a D is something that's being created and generated that causes you to be cast down to this earth because you're not fit to be in any normal society. Because on the kayak commercial, they're telling you that they eat normals. You hear me, Martin Luther? They don't like normals. They only like sleek, clown, robot, dumb niggas. That's what they like. Flunky slaves that follow them blindly into hell, marching down into it, eyes wide shut. Now these shams you're speaking about, go to chapter 7 of your, and I don't deal with holy tablets like that, but I'm dealing with, I was called to do that tonight. Go to chapter 7, and you can also see in these diagrams the man converting himself into a craft. That's diagram 104 for those of you that's on page 674. For those with the paperback holy tablet. Diagram 105, the human body turning itself into a ship. Key for Amun. And everybody that I rename again, part of their name is always Amun. So that when you move in stars and performing miracles in the name of Amun, you're doing it in your own name. You see, there's a method to my madness, right? And it's not selfish motive. I'm going to explain to you about these shams real clear. And if you all want to know why I know where this stuff is, it's called Baina or Farkon. Given to messengers, they give them the ability to know the distinction between allegorical and decisive in how to intermarry the scriptures, right? Again, more evidence of exactly who I am and who sent me. Why is it important for you to know who I am so that you can trust what I say when I tell you who you are? It should be easy with proof. Chapter 7, Tablet 1. Make sure you follow along, Keith Amun. We're going to go, if it's salt, back to page 653, verse 160. Let me know when you all are there. Are you there, Joanne? It's very important.
Yes, I am.
All
Chapter
right.
7.
How about you?
What verse was it?
160.
Okay, I'm
Are
there.
you there in Texas?
Yes, I'm there.
All right. Keith Amun, are you there?
Okay, it was
Chapter 7.
Yeah, chapter 7, tablet 1.
Yeah, it's diagram 105. You can find that later. It's chapter 7, tablet 1, verse 160. Cheryl in London, you with us?
Yes, I'm there.
All right. The plane of divine truth, spiritual perfection and attainment. A plane exempt from all carnal desires, supreme spiritual bliss, is the level of consciousness, right? Which is the daily expression of those you call the ranks of angels, angelic beings, co-exotic priests, the 320 elders, Akatel, Alithiel, Azabuga, Beriel, Kemuel, Kiel, Galgaliel, Haniel, Uthiel, Jehuel, Madaran, Raguel, Quadison, Radiariel, Roswell, Rigbiel, Mahi, Cabal, Yannon, Suriel, Eupaphia, Zagzel, and Sandalphon. The 4 and 20 seat is open to all the news bearers, and the 25th is the one of the 24 who takes the seat of overseer. So in the Patarak concentration, Malachi wrote the prayer of Amun in the back, and who do you say is the overseer of the heavens and the earth?
You are.
Amun.
That's right. Amun-RAYAY is the overseer of the heavens and the earth. All right. Don't believe me, check it out. 171. And the 25th is the one of the 24 who takes the seat of overseer. As the 19th becomes the 25th, and the renewal of history would take place every equinox for 25,000 years, right? Nearest to the heart of Anu, Elul, most glorified and exalted, it is the school of the Anunnaki of the green light, where the ability to personify as 12 times 12, or 144. And it is here that one is translated from a mental state into that divine state. The mental plane is the plane of the chosen. Rejoice at the glad tidings. The chosen one, our master, has found the root of all evil. He has shown us the way of salvation. The chosen one dispels the illusions of our mind and redeems us from the fears of death. The chosen one, our master, brings comfort to the weary and sorrow laden. He restores peace to those who are broken down under the burden of this life. He gives courage to the weak when they were at times ready to give up self-reliance and hope. The chosen one has proclaimed the truth. Let the truth of the chosen one dwell in your hearts. Extinguish in yourselves every desire that antagonizes the chosen one. And in the perfection of your spiritual growth, you will become likened to him. Those of you here which cannot or will not develop into the chosen one must perish. For it is the source of your error. It is the cause of your misery. Those who through flashes of intuitive elimination from a higher source and are able to perceive that which the ordinary human perceives not, star movers, the chosen is that one who finds his normal consciousness level, expressing a bright light from within the inner sun at the seat of the solar plexus. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the supreme being. We have 7 planes, 7 heavens inside of your body, and the 4th plane of Malachus, the Lord's breastplate, is in your chest, is above the bottom 3 and beneath the upper 3, the laryngeal seat, pineal gland, and the crown molar, right? So that's the midway plane or Malachus, right? The chosen is that one who finds his normal consciousness level, expressing a bright light within the inner sun at the seat of the solar plexus. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the supreme being, where all those of the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek spiritually meet. In this class, we're not together in the physical room. We meet spiritually meet, where they adorn their crimson crown, and you listen to hear the tassel bells of happiness sound. So those of you that went to ancient mystic order of Melchizedek, you had this outfit, you had a fez on. It was either red, which was Nasut or Earth, the lowest vibration, carnal seat, or it was white, which was Malakut, the fourth plane, or like Malachi and I, it was black for Lahut, for the heavens, right? So now, follow me, Kifamu, where they adorn their crimson crown. The crown is the sham. Remember what I told you? The most outstanding feature of the sham is the hole in the bottom. That's where you put your, it's like a hat, you put your head in that. And you listen to hear the tassel bell of happiness sound, where their heart is wrapped with the noble sash, a token of authority, dignity, power, honor, and reward, one is a symbol of glory and remembrance of their great path as they raise in height from degree to degree. 720 is what they will be. 360 masters the physical, and all 360 opens the way to the spiritual hall, above. 7 and 20, ninth and ninth power of 9. At this point, you become Lord over space and time, knowing no depth and no height, raised from the darkness of ignorance to the intellectual light, endures all temptations when he is tried. A crown that is his own, sham. The jacket with the wings of an angel is worn. Thus you have your inner pyramid. Pyra means the fire, mid means the center. The nose on the face inhales the oxygen that ignites the sun in the middle of your chest, where the lotus breastplate rests. And the son of the Anunnaki, most glorified and exalted ones, Malakut, which is ruled by Malachi's Duck, plane of divine love, a compassion not yet comprehended by human beings, but will be, of which earthly love is only a reflection. A compassion that realizes not only the self, Martin, but expresses a compassion which can encompass all. I'd like to go further in this, and I will in another class. But to answer your question more thoroughly, Kifamu, let's go back to verse 182. The chosen one, our master, brings comfort to the weary and sorrow laden. He restores peace to those who are broken down under the burden of this life. He gives courage to the weak when they were at times ready to give up self-reliance and hope. The chosen one has proclaimed the truth. Let the truth of the chosen one dwell in your hearts, extinguishing yourselves every desire that antagonizes the chosen one. Be careful. And in the perfection of your spiritual growth, you will come likened to him. Now, those of you here which cannot or will not develop into the chosen one must perish. For it is the source of your error. It is the cause of your misery. Those who, through flashes of intuitive illumination from a higher source, and are able to perceive that which the ordinary human perceives not, the chosen is that one who finds his normal consciousness level, expressing a bright light from within the inner sun at the seat of the solar plexus. And the people here with me, they always see me lit up. What did you see me the other night? What did you see around me?
While I was to him, all of a sudden I saw his bright white aura around his face and head. While we were talking, it was like 3 inches wide or something like that, flowing off the edges of his face and head.
Right. Okay. Now, one of the chosen is that one who finds his normal consciousness level, expressing a bright light from within the inner sun at the seat of the solar plexus. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the supreme being, where all those angels squad of Melchizedek spiritually meet, where they adorn their crimson crown. So that's red. Those are the ones on Malakut, the mortals. When you look at the crown, it has 360 degrees circle at the bottom like the sham, which the part goes around your head. That's the physical 360 degrees. And then the top of the sham, there's a 360 degree top on it. That's Malakut, or the higher 360 degrees. And when he says about the tassel bells of happiness sounding, when you have a bell that has that hole in the bottom just like the sham, there's a tassel that comes from it that gongs the bell inside with a stem on it. That's symbolic of you as a light being, Iraq, traveling across the cosmos as a ball of light with a tail behind it. That's the stem of the ball inside of the bell. That long tail is the stem of the... So Malachi put out a book one time, Mission Earth, where you saw a picture of a sham and a light being coming out the bottom of that hole with a stream of light behind him, or tail, a ball of light. That's you when you're traveling outside your body and the way people see you. And that's what makes it happy. The tassel bell of happiness rings when you come out of that physical bell or out of that sham, out of that body. And the sham, like Nibiru, is an ascension craft. It's not just purely metal and jewels. It's also a living soul. I wanted you all to know that. Like when I was on board Nibiru the last time in remembrance, conscious memory, when I saw my mother about 30 years ago, you know, looking real young, refreshed on that medical facility. And the black nurse turned with a white uniform. I couldn't see her face. But next to me, sitting where I was, next to a window, in the dark, there was this being sitting next to me, insectoid, or it looked like he had an exoskeleton, was black. And I was explaining about Nibiru and how it was made, what have you, and he was sitting next to me in the dark, with his hand going up and down, saying, yeah. But then when I started focusing on looking at him real good, that he wasn't human, I woke back up in bed, right? But I suggest that you all start watching Ancient Aliens, and you're going to find out every channel you turn on got extraterrestrials and UFOs, because it's breaking through the reality. Okay, now we're going to read this again, Keith, and see if it becomes clear to you. 195. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the supreme being, where all of those of the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek spiritually meet, where they adorn their crimson crown. Now the jewels on the front, the jewels on the bureau, and as far as this stem that's inside of the tassel inside of the bell, that's that ball on top of the fez, and the streamers that hang down on that tassel. That's the tail behind the comet-like ball. So when you look at the fez, you had a little knot on a ball on the top. That was you as a spiritual ball of light. And the streamers were the tail behind you as you moved across the sky. Are you following me? Let's do it again, 195. This plane is the midway plane between the human being and the supreme being, where all those of the ancient mystic order of Melchizedek spiritually meet, where they adorn their crimson crown, and you listen to hear the tassel bell of happiness sound, right? Where your heart is wrapped with a noble sash. That's that sash you had 360 degrees. A token of authority, dignity, dignity, power, honor, and reward. One is a symbol of glory. Those of you that overcome, and remembrance of their great past. It was rough sometimes, right? As they raise in height from degree to degree, 720 is what they will be. 360 masters the physical, that's the bottom ring of the fez, and all 360 opens the way to the spiritual hall, the 360 at the top, opens the way, etheric core, to the spiritual hall, 7 and 29 to the ninth power of 9. At this point, you become Lord over space and time, knowing no depth and no height, raised from the darkness of ignorance to the intellectual light, endures all temptations when he is tried. A crown, that's the sham, that is his own. The jacket with the wings of an angel is worn, right? So I know these stars appear to be out there, Keeper, and I know the shams do too, but everything is in you. I'm in all in what?
All is in you.
It is. All is in you. Believe me, but becoming so conditioned to repetitive assertion that this is real, fixed and valid, you become totally under the spellbind, thinking that this is reality. But the greater reality is inside of you. This is just a small little tight, like a genie in a bottle. For example, when you look around right now with your physical eyes, your vision is restricted to the room you're in, to the walls, floors, and ceiling. But when you close them and use your spiritual eye or third eye, you can see your car parked outside, your job, your children in another state. You can see the stars in the heavens, and you can see everything because That's where you can see your mother inside of there. You can see yourself on the playground in school. You can see all of these things are inside of you. You know, when you close your eyes, you see that darkness. That's the multiverses, or the void and darkness, extended with the face of the deep. But when you create images with your imagination, first word and image, and imagination is image. When you create these images, these stars and people, when you close your eyes, they appear in there. You can see the sun right now in the dark if you want to, right? It's inside of your mind. You were the one that said, let there be light. In the beginning, Fed Lux, as said in Latin, some of you know, Saber Noah, light. And right now, if you would all perform this exercise, then close your eyes. Now you see that darkness. I want you to imagine and visualize the brightest sun that you've ever seen. You know, like an example, you drive in your vehicle, you turn a corner, and that sun hits you in the eye, and it hurts. It's so bright you have to pull the visor down so that you won't lose the line in the highway. You've seen that bright sun. You can see that bright sun right now if you want to, can't you? Honestly. Yeah. All right. Now, let me ask you, Joanne, when you see that bright sun, who's creating that? Because it's pitch dark in your mind. Who brought that light from out of the darkness just right then, Joanne?
You.
I did. The real me.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So they lied to you. This God you're looking for is, guess who it is, Joanne?
It's me.
That's right. Mm-hmm. And the God of the Creator. Don't let that devil trick you into creating devils in hell. Do you understand me?
Right. But what about,
right.
Okay,
when you
but what about what it says, what we just read, that they are coming to get, so are we to negate that there are beings that are our ancestors or descendants or however the matter?
Exactly.
Right.
You're creating.
To get us.
Okay, I understand the question, but see what you are. Before you were spirit, you are pure consciousness. Are you following me?
Right.
And I tried to show you that when you close your eyes to see that blackness, when you imagine stars and people, such as your mother and friends on the playground or children, then they appear in your mind. You can see them, can't you? Like the sun.
Right. Yeah. Right.
But these things don't really exist. They're all in you. You creating that. Are you following me?
Right.
Now you're getting into some serious stuff, right? You're getting into a serious area. But in order to answer your question, I have to approach it that way. From the highest levels of the question. You follow me?
Right. But I've never seen...
So these people, that's right. So your question, what I'm saying is that the shams and the beings that pilot them are real. But they're only characters in a story that you wrote. They're only characters in a story that you wrote. Remember I told these extraterrestrial beings are who? You in the future. Now you might say, well, how do I see the future if it's non-existent? Well, you've had dreams, Joanne, and they were vivid. And then 2 weeks later, something played out in your life, and it was the exact same thing you dreamed about 2 weeks ago. You tell a person, see, I saw this in my dream 2 weeks ago. Isn't that right?
Right.
Okay. My question is to you.
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
Right. Then how will you remember in the future? So there's somebody in you so great and dynamic that he can see the past or the future through the walls. There's a God inside of you, right? There's a Lord over space and what? A Lord over space and time.
Along with it.
You hear me, Joanne?
I hear you, yes.
And just like you created the sun, you can spell it S-U-N or how?
S-O-N.
You created both. Don't you see that? But people are afraid of this and they don't want to take responsibility. They want to be like little kids sitting on Santa Claus' knee, telling him I want this and I want it's not, no. You're going to stop and walk with me. I'm not going to carry you like that. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
Move them stars, sister.
When I
Heal
see
yourself,
when you
physician. Say it again.
When you said I see like my mother, and yeah, I can, but that's from memory. That's from conscious. I don't know how.
I follow you. I know, but I'm trying to tell you that you have seen people in your dreams that you don't remember in your present reality, right?
Right. That's true.
Many of those beings are from your future and you haven't met them yet. Or you dreamed about a person and then later on in life you ran across them and you thought, I remember that person, I think, for a dream, right? Or you forget from where, you just don't know where but you don't remember meeting them physically. So evidently you met them in the spiritual realm. My point is that I'm in all and all is in me. That means inside the house, outside the house, in the past or the future, all is all, Joanne. And that's what you really are. It's frightening and it's hard to wrap your mind around because they try to make you think that you're inside of creation in some kind of way and something above you created you. What the reality is you just turn yourself inside out and reconnect with the reality of who and what you really are. And you are this God that you want to worship and seek for. You follow me?
No, well, I'm a part of it. I'm not the God, because I didn't create the universe, so I can't, and the sun.
Well, you created your own. What I'm saying, okay, step up now. What I'm saying is that you are the center of your own universe, and you created it, and all things are equal distance from you. I understand the concept. Okay. What you're saying is that all these brothers and sisters here are also gods, so they can't be the one.
Right.
But you are the one in your universe. Meaning let me try to show you, like, if I give you a big giant beach ball that's white, right?
Right.
And then I give you a black marker, and I say, Joanne, put a dot on that ball, it'll represent you. When you do that, isn't that black dot the center of that white ball regardless where you put it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so if you give the sisters and brothers a black marker and they all put dots on the ball, isn't it a fact that their black dot is the center of that same ball regardless of where they put it? To them, from their perspective.
Right,
that's right. So you're all the God, and still I hear what you're saying. We're all part of all, but as a collective, that's what we are. In other words, what we are is consciousness, divine love. And one day it shifted. Right. It shifted one day. And when it did, it stopped. And that point was the point that we all were imprinted from. Are you following me?
Yes.
And the consciousness, it converted from thought into energy. And the energy spiraled down or falls down into what you call forms. First it was the thought that created the energy that shaped the form of the matter, right?
Right.
That you call Joanne in the mirror or your son or people you see or the sun in the sky. So what I'm saying is that when you're sitting at home with a friend in your living room and y'all having a pleasant conversation, it's 72 degrees, everything is well, then your friend gets up to go get a drink or something, and while they're gone to the bathroom, whatever, they get back, you start thinking about this person that abused you at work or in a relationship, and no matter how hard you try not to keep getting mad, right? But the more you try not to think about it, what happens?
You're angry.
The more you think about it, you become consumed with it, right?
Right, yeah.
And pretty soon these thoughts create energy in the form of heat, right? And they come back, your heart is palpitating, you breathe a little heavy, you got a little perspiration on your forehead and under your arm, and they say, Joanne, what's the matter with you? Nothing. I'm sorry. But what it is you really consumed with the thought of this creature that did this to you. You follow what I mean? And you got physical, you're in a medical field, so you know what I mean. Your heart rate goes up, your core temperature, right? You know what I mean, right? There's physical heat being created. So those thoughts are creating energy, right?
Right.
in the form of heat. Well, that means thought and energy are interchangeable, doesn't it? Mathematically, Elder. You know what I mean, right?
Thought and right, yeah.
Right. Well, let's look at matter. So if you have a cigarette, the most negative example, it's a solid by your definition now. But when you light it, the heat and fire are two forms of what? The light and heat are two forms of what?
Energy.
Exactly. So as it burns, you convert the matter into energy, right?
Mhm. Yes.
So that means matter and energy are also what? Interchangeable, right?
Yes, that's correct.
So if matter and energy are interchangeable and thought and energy are interchangeable, now you see how you say to a thing, be and it is? You create the cigarette, do you see that? It comes from the thought.
Right. But I can't just say, if I want an orange right now, be and it is, and one appears in my hand, so...
Okay, and I understand that right now. And the reason you can't is because what you said is that you can't. You hear me, Star Mover?
Yeah.
Because you're limited, you're constrained by your perception of what reality is. And right now you still hold on or cling to the belief that you're that physical body and you're trapped inside the mud of your flesh and in that room, etc. And as a mortal being, you can't do things that gods do, right? Like make an orange appear or the stars move, right? You follow me?
Yes, I follow you.
But now, Beach Ball, that you know you're God, we both know there's nothing you can't do, right? All can, you can, right? But you have to believe that you can. What did Jesus tell people that wanted him to heal? He would first ask, do you believe that I can do this thing, right? And when they replied in the affirmative, yes, I believe, he would say that by your own faith may you be made whole, right?
Right.
He was only revealing to them their own potential. You follow me?
Right. I understand, yes.
Right. But it's all you, son. I don't care if it's S-U-N or S-O-N. It's all you.
Mm-hmm.
These are characters in a story, Joanne, that you wrote. Be clear about what you are. You are an enigma. You are not that thing you see in the mirror. That's something you projected and created in your imagination, an image. If that body is sitting down, you look around your room, you can see a chair that's vacant around there. You can sit in if you wanted to, right?
Yes.
Well, imagine that I could take your soul and put in that chair, your spirit, your imagination, your thoughts, your memories, your emotions, and your feelings. If I put all that in that other chair, what would be left here on the phone with us?
Just about an empty shell.
Nothing.
Just
a fungus that would break down because that light is the amalgam of the good, holds the tachyon force that holds that together, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that would be nothing, just an empty vessel that would break down soon, right?
Right.
Because the body can't live without the spirit, but the spirit can live without the body. That's right. So the body is nothing. But they're trying to convince you it's everything. Okay. So now let's look at the real you. What constitutes Joanne? Your thoughts, your imagination, your spirit, your soul, your etheric aspect, your mind, your memory, your feelings. That's really what you are, isn't it?
Yeah, that's me. Right. That is true.
That's really you. Okay, but now let's look over in that chair, and I want you to describe yourself to me. What do you look like? How much do you weigh? Look at her. Is it a her?
I assume
or something undefined. You can't see it, right?
No.
Well, this God that you've been raised to believe in, can you see him?
No.
That's right. So, since you're God, why would you be able to see yourself?
Okay. Well, I can see the manifestations of God, of the Creator.
Exactly.
That's all I.
Well, let me ask you this: do you believe in love and hate?
Love and hate, yes.
Yeah. Okay. But can you just take a pencil and pen?
Yes.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. That's right. But can you draw a picture of them?
No.
Right. So they're not part of this realm, but they are real, like God. Let me take us back to a scripture in the Bible where it says, faith or belief is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things yet unseen. Through faith, we understand that the worlds, meaning the sun, moon, and stars, and your hand on the phone, were formed by the word of God. That was you that said to thing be and it is, from thought to cigarette, so that things that are seen, such as your hand on the phone, the sun and the sky, and the cigarette, were not made by things which do appear, meaning you can't see yourself in the chair, right?
Right.
All right, let's go through it slowly. Faith is the substance of the cigarette. Faith is the substance of things yet unseen, right? So you imagine one day having a child or a car, and after you thought about it, with your imagination, you brought these images into being so that you really have that car parked out there, right?
Right.
You thought it was made out of metal and rubber, didn't you? But it was made out of your thought. Faith is the substance. If you believe it, with enough faith, you can make a tree get up and walk, or a mountain. If you believe, then it's so, because you're God. So faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things right then that are yet unseen, right? Because you didn't think your son and car didn't exist until you brought them into being. You brought them out of your mind into a cigarette, right?
Yes.
Okay, now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things yet unseen. Now let's take it further. Through faith or belief, we understand that the worlds, the sun, moon, and stars, and your body were formed by the word of God. That was you. Say to a thing, be and it is. You hear me, cigarette? So the things that are seen, such as the cigarette, your son, the car, you, the stars in the sky, were not made by things which do appear. See? Faith is the substance of things hoped for, and the evidence of things at that point that are yet unseen until they appear. Now, through faith or belief, we understand now that the things that are seen were not made by things which do appear. You can see the creation, but you can't see the creator. So if you go outside and the sky is clear and you see a star and I ask you to move it, or you see the moon up there and I say, can you point to it, Joanne, and say, there's the moon or the star, yes or no?
Yes.
All right, but that was created. We understand that, right?
Right.
All right, but if I ask you to point to the creator, can you say, there he is over there, or there he is over there?
No, I cannot. I can only,
you can't see yourself in a chair.
Yeah.
Right, you can't see the creator, but you can see the creation, right?
Right.
That's what you meant by evidence of it, or however you worded it, right? That's how you know love and hate is real, by experience through manifestation through experience, right?
Right.
That's the way that you know. I was with you all the time. Did you know that? I understood. I made a mind of God. I understood exactly what you were saying when I say I understand the question. Okay. Now my question to you is which is realist in your mind, the creation or the creator of it?
Which is realist in my mind, the creation or the creator of it?
Yeah, the creation or the creator of it. Nothing can rise above its source. Don't confuse yourself. Exactly. That's the truth. It'll set you free. But you know what you just established for yourself and broke the spell? You just confirmed that the unseen is realer than the seen, Joanne.
Right. Yes.
That's right. You see how the confusion is breaking, the fog is lifting, you see?
Yes.
We've got through and we're breaking ice now. You see, we're getting somewhere.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You see, that's called a breakthrough. You got me? It's a big one.
Right.
So you know now that you're God and you're the creator, but the part of you that's God you can't see, Chair, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Further evidence is you have 2 eyes and 2 ears and a nose, and they're centrally located on your face, and that's how you confirm this creation that you call reality. Through what you see, hear, feel, smell, taste, and touch, right? Centrally located on your face, right? Your senses, right?
Right. Senses, yes. Mm-hmm.
But they're not really real, Cigarette. They're just characters in a story you created, right? Because you have an inner vision and an inner hearing. So when you close your eyes, you can still see much more than you can with your eyes open, right?
Right.
You can see anything you can imagine.
I can.
Son.
But it,
right.
Okay. Well.
So you can imagine anything. So you can create. So what's the limit to what you can create?
It's infinite.
The limit of your imagination. And the broader your consciousness becomes, the more you can create. So there is no limit, is there?
There is no limit.
Joanne, you can do anything except one thing. You can't become less and still be all. And the devil is doing that to get you to fall 5G instead of 5D. You hear me?
Yes.
But the truth is that the devil is just negative thoughts that personified and putting on shoes and clothes and confronting you and challenging you. Your own negative thoughts are attacking you. You follow me?
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah.
Let me give you an example of what I'm saying. I hope the young brother is here to ask the first question. So if you're in the room as a child...
I'm right here.
Yeah, okay. So if you're in the room as a child and there's a thunder and lightning storm, and you get scared because you imagine when the lightning flashes that you see a man standing with a coat on with an axe in his hand, and you pull your head under the covers as a child scared in the dark room, right?
Right.
You create that monster with your imagination, you see. But as an adult right now that's reaching the higher consciousness now, finding your normal consciousness level, you realize on retrospect that there was nobody in the room except you, right?
Yeah. That's true.
So who was it trying to frighten you? Who was it trying to frighten you? Your own lower self.
Yeah.
And a lot of people will argue, I'm not a devil trying to destroy myself. Would they say that? He's crazy. I'm not a devil trying to. You think I'm doing this to myself? Yes, I do. So you know educated people that smoke cigarettes, don't you, Joanne?
What's that?
You know educated people that smoke cigarettes, don't you?
Right, I do, yes.
Okay. But they're educated enough to know that smoking, inhaling that smoke is a coffin nail every time. In other words, they're slowly killing themselves, right?
Right.
Every time they puffing and dragging, that dragon is the devil, the fallen angel. You got to fight against the dragon in this day. They puffing and dragging, right? So what I'm saying is that, but they saying to you that they would never do anything to destroy or hurt themselves, right?
Right, right.
Now that you look at it, do you believe that statement?
No. I don't
You see the paradox of us now, Joanne? Do you see the paradox of us? Don't get scared because of where we're going. I want you to take responsibility. Do you see the paradox of us?
Paradox of us?
I'm saying the good and evil, both of which we omit.
Yeah, I do.
So you can be God, but you can drop down to the devil in your lower vibratory thoughts and attack yourself, right, in many forms.
Yeah, definitely. Yes, that's true. Yeah.
That's smoking hot right there, but that's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the truth.
But I'll tell you how the truth will make you free. With that knowledge, and you know it, that you're creating the good and the evil, then who has the power to alleviate the evil and think only good?
I do.
That's right.
Yeah.
So when they say you create your own heaven and hell, what does that mean? Is that a true statement?
Yeah, that's true.
That's exactly right. And doesn't it feel good, even if you don't feel fully in control, you can see the pathway to it now, can't you?
Yes.
Well, if you've been lifted to that level of consciousness, I feel like I've done my job. Would you agree?
Yes. Yeah, I would agree.
For one night, anyway. Now, you tell me why it is that people are not flocking to us in droves, Joanne.
Well, I guess
because they're under that spell, aren't they?
They're under the spell, and they just don't want to face reality. You know, I mean, when I say reality, I mean
they don't want to take responsibility.
Right.
They want to go back to sitting on Santa's knee, and they want, you're following what I mean?
Right.
But until they take responsibility, they will never have the ability to respond. Am I right?
Yes, that's true.
Well, I say that with a teardrop and a smile. I feel the hurt, but I'm happy because you see the light. You follow?
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that we all the way there. We have a lot of work to do, but you've accomplished a lot tonight, family. Do you hear me? All of you. Do you hear me?
Yes.
You've accomplished a lot. And aren't you proud to know that when you were a child, you were asked what you want to be, a little boy, little girl, when you grow up, a nurse and a fireman and all this? The truth is, if you could be anything, you want to say, I want to be God, but you would have got backhanded, right? Blasphemy.
Right, yeah.
But now climb up on your own intellect and take the mask off God and be really happy because it is you. I am AMUN-RAYAY, the real Messiah, and I will send you as your servant. Support what we do. Be an integral part of it. Never leave it and put your all into it. We are one. AMUN-RAYAY. Stay close. Walk with me. The final vortex is near.